Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Small Church Musicians Podcast. My name is Justin, I'm your host, and I'm a small church musician. I'm on a journey to find the best sounding equipment for my budget and to talk about the songs that mean so much to me as a worship leader. This is going to be a little bit different than the normal episodes I've been putting out. This morning I felt a sudden call to talk about some songs, and I realized I listen to a lot of music throughout a week, both just when I'm at the gym or I'm driving around or I'm prepping for worship, and I felt called to talk about them. So I want to talk about some standouts that I've listened to this week, and I want to start putting these episodes out on Sunday afternoons so that you have another piece of content you can listen to, and I get to put some thoughts out there about some really good pieces of music that exist. There's not going to be a whole lot of structure to this. These are just going to be, four to six songs a week that I've connected with this week, and the Lord has spoken to me through. So there's not going to be a whole lot of structure to this. This is just going to be me talking, and let's go ahead and get started, shall we? The first song I want to talk about this week is Brandon Lake's Kids. No, I'm not talking about his individual children. I'm talking about his new song, Kids. I heard the song for the first time ever this week when I was at work filling the cooler. Came up in one of my Spotify recommendations, and it just played by itself. Though I'd never heard it before, I had just an immediate connection with it. I love when worship leaders and artists bring in biblical references from both the Old and the New Testament, and Brandon Lake does that so incredibly well. I love his scriptural knowledge that he puts in song form. This is one of the few times I can ever remember hearing God described as the ram for every Isaac that's ever existed. I think that's incredibly genius. I love that he calls God the manna for each of our deserts. I think that's so incredibly wise. And then he brings in a bunch of New Testament references that we've all heard. But I love the chorus of this song. It's so stinking catchy. It just says the miracle worker is working a miracle out. The evidence is all around. And that God's promise is he'll never let his kids down. That's the core message of the song. And that's such a true statement, and I love that. It's such a fun song to sing. I've had this song in my head for the last 2 days since I first heard it, and yeah, this song is absolutely incredible. Definitely go check it out if you haven't already. The next song I want to talk about is Completely by Among the Thirsty. If you haven't checked out my episode called Why Small Church Musician, definitely do, but in that episode I talk a little bit about this song. I just briefly touch on it, but I've talked about how in the last couple of weeks, I've really been trying to live out the message of this song, and God's really been speaking to me, and I listen to it a lot, but really this week, I've really been trying to pay attention to what it's trying to say and not just listen to the chorus. The chorus is the best part of the song, where it says that I'm completely surrendering, I'm finally giving you everything, and that's where I'm at in my life, is that I'm really trying to give God everything and let him completely lead me and show me where he wants me to be. That's where I'm at with this. This is a beautiful song if you haven't heard it. Among the Thirsty is just a fantastic band. Sadly, I'm not as familiar with as much of their work as I should be, and I'm planning on checking out more throughout the next couple of weeks. But definitely go check them out. Side note, Among the Thirsty, I think that's an incredibly genius name for a band, especially a worship band. So they're really, really smart with just their choice of a band name already. That was already a winner in my book. And yeah, Completely is just the biggest song that I've ever heard from them. Definitely check them out. The third song I want to talk about is Nobody by Casting Crowns, specifically the Kane cover version on the Casting Crowns 20th anniversary album, Life Songs. I'll start out by saying that this album is so incredibly cool. It's made up of reimaginings of some of the biggest Casting Crowns songs from their first 20 years as a band, and all of them are cover versions. They're done by artists that Casting Crowns have either been friends with, or they've toured with, or they have a really close relationship with. Phil Wickham's on here, Mac Powell's on here, Mercy Me's on here, and Kane's on here, and that's where this version comes from. Some of the songs are done completely differently, but other ones, like this one, are pretty similar to the original track, but they have different dynamics, whether they be vocally, or in this case, a song vocally, and it's in a different key. I really love the energy that Kane brings to their music in general, and I love hearing this side of them singing a Casting Crowns song. And Kane's got some of the best vocals in Christian music right now, period. And this song is just so good with them singing it. I love how each of the singers get their own separate section to take. It makes it so incredibly unique and so special. I don't really know why this song is hitting me so heavily this week, but I think God's using it to remind me about who I am, that I'm just an average person who just wants to tell everybody about him and lead his people in worship. And the song is so good. Definitely check it out. Another side note about the album as a whole, I didn't know I needed Mac Powell singing a piano-led version of Until the Whole World Hears, but now that's all I want to hear now. I love the electric guitar original version, but this version is so incredibly cool. Definitely go check out this whole album. I'm not going to go on and on about it, I promise. Just wanted to bring that side note in there. Let's move on to the next song. The next song we're going to be talking about is Invited by 10th Avenue North. Spoiler alert, this coming week we're going to be starting a new series where we do deep dives into individual worship songs and the artists that wrote them and things like that. And in that first episode, we're talking about 10th Avenue North. I'm not going to spoil what song it is, but definitely keep your eyes out for Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'm so excited for that episode to go live. But I've been listening to 10th Avenue North a lot in preparation for that episode, and when I found out they had a new single coming out, I was so incredibly excited. If you don't know, 10th Ave have been on a hiatus for the last couple of years, and when the news dropped they were coming back, they had a new lineup, and they have a new single, I was over the moon with joy, and I sat there praising God because I grew up with 10th Ave, and the fact that they're coming back really means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful for that. This song is kind of a return to form for them as a ministry and as a band. It's also like a passing of the torch from the old members to the new, as it was co-written by both generations, the classic 10th Avenue North and the new guys who are in there now. It gives me serious vibes from their first 3 albums, and it's got one of the best choruses I've heard in such a long time. I'm so glad to hear Mike Donaghy singing lead on new music. I've listened to some of his solo stuff, but it didn't really captivate me the way 10th Avenue North did. So this is definitely something to watch moving forward, and I'm excited to see where 10th Ave goes from here. The last song I want to talk about this week is Thank God I Do by Lauren Daigle. Now, I fully acknowledge that Lauren Daigle is one of the best Christian artists going. I think it's incredible the work that the Lord is doing through her ministry, that he's reaching people in the secular world as well as speaking to people in the Christian music bubble through Lauren's music. I think she's an incredible talent. I think she's an amazing vocalist. If you ever heard her sing Noel, you will be jaw on the floor, shocked and just blown away by her skill. But for whatever reason, I've never really clicked with her style of music, apart from her song Still Rolling Stones, which I'm going to talk about here on the show at some point. Fantastic song. Definitely go check it out. But that's not what I'm focusing on. Thank God I Do is a little bit different. Her version's beautiful, but I've never really clicked with it. And then I heard the Essential Worship version performed by Jason Ingram. If you don't know who he is, he's the co-writer for this song and an insane amount of other songs. Here's just a few that he's co-written. He's co-written Goodness of God, Sea of Victory by Elevation Worship, Great Are You, Lord, Glorious Day by Kristen Stanfill, Because He Lives by Matt Mayer, an insane amount of Chris Tomlin songs, and of course, an insane amount of Lauren Daigle songs. If you look at her songwriting credits, he is almost always there as a co-writer. He knows his stuff. And he's the guy who's just there in the background just co-writing all these great pieces of music. And he doesn't get the credit I think he deserves as a songwriter and as a worship leader. But anyway, he stripped this song back to just be piano and guitar playing some light swells in the background. And his amazing vocal talents are really on display here. That's really what makes this song. It's meditative, it's calm, and it's worshipful. And it's meant to just be you and God. And Jason really kind of voices a lot of the things that I've been struggling with this past year, that I don't know where I'd be if I didn't know who God was. I'd probably fall off the edge. And I say, thank God that I do know who God is. And yeah, this song is absolutely incredible. And it's so very much worth your time. So go check it out if you haven't already. So there you go. There's a couple songs I've been listening to this week. I'm going to have a Spotify playlist available with all the songs that I talk about on this show and any other episodes in the future where I talk about songs in general. It'll be called Small Church Musicians Picks if you ever want to follow it. And you might want to, because I'm going to be updating it all the time. And I'll link to it in this show's description, so it'll be pretty easy for you to find. I'm also going to have YouTube links available to all the songs that I've talked about today, so you can listen to them on your own. I really hope that you connected with the Lord through this episode and that he used these songs and this discussion to inspire you and speak to you in some small way. If you feel called, I'd love it if each and every one of you would consider following Small Church Musician on Spotify, subscribing for more episodes and content like this, and leaving a review or even sharing it with a friend or someone you know, or just on social media in general. Share the show. Also, you can find us on Facebook. Just search Small Church Musicians Podcast. We'll pop right up, I promise. I upload new episodes every single Tuesday between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and now I'm going to be posting some extra content on Sunday afternoons, and you can look for those between 1 and 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And so, friends, remember, this show is for everyone, regardless of what size church you attend, but everybody is welcome here. Until next time, I'm Justin, I'm a small church musician, and I'm on a journey to find the best sounding equipment for my budget and to talk about the songs that I love, and I'll see you next time. Have a great week.